you're within the realm of, the Quran and stuff, different interpretation or sectarianism or whatever, Sunni, Shia, stuff like that. And now we're saying, okay, we have a different way to interpret the Quran, or I guess understand the Quran that's different than, through the lens of the sectarianism approach. And I guess I would challenge you to really have an open mind and examine the information we share and see if it resonates or makes sense. And we have a lot of resources. We're going to talk about some of that right now. So I congratulate you for this quest.
Thanks.
We love hearing these kinds of stories. The thing he brought me up is because there are verses in the Quran that sort of would perhaps shake you up, and we're hesitant to show them for we're sometimes hesitant to show it to a newcomer because sometimes they get sort of repelled really quickly, and you see like
what AAA is saying is like we don't know how much to dump on you. We don't want to overload you with information and things like that.
But I've read the Quran multiple times, so.
Hey, praise God, that's awesome. Did you come across the verses where God says, in which hadith other than God and His revelations do they follow? Do you know about those verses?
In which what?
So God literally, go ahead, AAA.
So in lounge dash chat, do you see the chat channel here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I put in one verse from the Quran. Right? What do you think of this verse? Which hadith other than this do they uphold?
I don't think anything.
You don't think anything? Right.
I mean, what am I supposed to think?
It is a verse from God, right?
Yeah.
So it's not bad to have a thought about it. How about this one? These are God's revelations that we recite to you truthfully. In which hadith, other than God and His revelations, do they believe? Woe to every fabricator.
Yeah, I've never read it in that. I've never read it saying in the hadith.
Yeah, you want to know?
You want to know why? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I used to read, I don't know what translations you're reading, but I used to read Mohsin Khan, Yusuf Ali, Say International, and whatnot. So, like, I had a technique where if I didn't understand a verse, I would read, like, multiple translations of the same verse and try to get the essence of it. What you probably notice as well, like, in translations, they love to keep certain Arabic words, like, instead of God, they say Allah, instead of heaven, they say Jannah, and then instead of hell, Jahannam, and so it's like wherever they can, they try to, like, keep the Arabic words for whatever reason, you know what I mean? But for some reason, when this word hadith is used, they translate it to its English equivalent, story, narration, and stuff like that. Yeah. So, but the literal Arabic word that's used there is hadith. So God in the Arabic is saying, like, which hadith, other than God and His revelations, do they uphold? So this is something that goes over a lot of people's heads. I didn't even know this. Now, I grew up as a Sunni Muslim. I had read the Quran, even in the Arabic, heard the Quran many times, but it just never, like, registered for whatever reason. And I realized, like, oh man, like, the Arabic, literally, God is asking, like, what hadith other than God and His revelations do you uphold? So it's just really noteworthy that the Arabic word hadith is used, but when it comes to translating...
The Quran isn't...
One second, brother. Yeah, hold on a second, brother. So it's like, it's interesting to me, like, as much as hadith are revered, they go out of their way not to translate this word, hadith, into the Arabic, even though it's a word that everyone's familiar with. And it's not in a positive light. Like, wherever this word has been mostly used, it's not really in a positive light.
Yeah, and to be fair, I also, I was former Sunni and had left Islam. And it was these verses that brought me back. Right, because when I realized because I was not fluent in Arabic, I did not read the Arabic, I read the English translations. And when I learned that the real Arabic word used here was hadith, and that the person who showed these verses, he was telling me that hadiths were never supposed to be part of Islam, I gave the Quran a second chance. And after reading it through that lens, I came back to Islam and discarded hadiths. And this is before becoming a submitter. was not submitted at that time.
Yeah, I mean, what is the meaning of the word hadith in Arabic? What is the literal
Yeah,
meaning?
story. Yeah, original. It's a fantastic question. And like the common rebuttal is, oh, this just means story, narration, etc., etc. It doesn't really take away from what the verse is saying, because God is essentially condemning. First, God calls the Quran, in the verse where it says, God has revealed herein the best hadith. So whatever you want to translate, the best story, the best narration, God calls the Quran the best hadith. Same Arabic word is used. And in the other verses it says, in which hadith other than God's revelation do they uphold or do they follow? So God is essentially condemning any other story or narration other than the story or the narration of the Quran. So it doesn't really change much by saying this means story, this means narration, this means saying, because ultimately God is saying, what other story, narration, or saying are you following besides the Quran? Which is a rhetorical question, which means you should not be doing that. And this encompasses hadith, this encompasses anything else. It actually goes beyond just hadith. It's just noteworthy that God chose to use the word hadith. He could use so many words for story, narration, sayings. There's many Arabic words for that, but he chose specifically the word hadith because, you know, God can see into the future, you know? So he knew what was going to happen in the future with the Muslims.
So then why does it in 469 say, and whoever obeys Allah and the Messenger, those will be with the ones upon whom Allah has bestowed the favors of the prophets. So then he's telling, so first of all, you're saying that he says don't follow, so you're saying that we're not supposed to follow the prophets, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but
No,
then
no,
you're
no.
saying we are?
Sabrina, here's the biggest misconception that many Muslims have fallen for. Hadith, according to Islamic scholars, you can't even say Muhammad said this or did this. You have to, you're required, if you're being academically honest, you have to each time give the chain of narration. This person heard from this person, heard from this person, heard from this person, who saw the Prophet say or do this, or heard the Prophet do this. So you can't even directly say the Prophet said or did this. These are all attributions to the Prophet. Kind of like how if I say, hey, I heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone that Sabrina did this or said that. Just because I heard somebody say that, or we all heard somebody, doesn't mean you actually did that. These are sayings or stories being attributed to you. So these are all claims. These are all claims of the Prophet said or did this. It's not actual proof, or you can't actually say the Prophet said or did this. You have to say these people heard him say this or did that. So these are attributions to him, and that's what we're
So
saying
how
when you
long-
actually go to the
So how long was the Quran written after the Prophet died?
during his time. We actually have Quran written. So we actually have manuscripts of the Quran from Muhammad's time. We believe the Prophet Muhammad actually wrote it down himself.
There is
No, he did not. That's not
Oh,
true. He could
that,
not have written it down. Yeah.
Why?
How did he write it down?
He was a literate man. He knew how to read and write. He wrote it down.
He was illiterate, but he could read, but he could write it down.
Why do you say he was illiterate?
Because he was.
Based off what? Prophet Muhammad could fly. Prophet Muhammad could read minds. Based off of what? Why do you say he's illiterate? How do you know that? Prophet Muhammad was blind. He couldn't see.
Okay.
Based off of what? You get my point though, right?
the knowledge that you get, and the hadiths have contradicting information. And there's even a hadith where Muhammad asked for a piece of paper so he could write something down.
If I could chime in.
No, please.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
So, according to the Quran was always written. The first revelation of the Quran is read in the name of your Lord who created. He created man from an embryo. Read, and your Lord most exalted teaches by means of the pen. He teaches man what he never knew. The Quran is referenced as kitab. Kitab means a written book. So this, narrative that the Quran was not written until after the Prophet's death goes completely against the Quran. This aspect of calling him illiterate is insulting. This is part of the reason that the Hadith is so insulting to the Prophet. They say that he's illiterate, meaning over 23 years he never learned how to read or write. They say that he was bewitched, They say that he's a pedophile. They make all these, vile accusations against him. And the thing to take in consideration is for the first, several hundred years, hadith were not the cornerstone of the religion. This is proven Quranically and it's proven historically. This concept of, relying on the hadith corpus, this is something that basically became more standardized. You're talking in the 11th century, 500 years after the death of the Prophet.
What about chapter 29, verse 48? Did someone bring that up?
Yeah, we can look at that too. Right. This one brings
Chapter
up
29, verse 48.
it doesn't help the case. It says you did not read the previous scriptures, nor did you write them with your hand. Right? It's not in reference that he couldn't read or write. Look at the Arabic. No. It doesn't say couldn't. Nowhere in the verse does say he couldn't. It says you did not write them. Right?
That means you couldn't.
No. Where's the word couldn't? It says you did not write them.
No, it's وما كنت تتلو من قبله الكتاب.
Yeah, that's not
in Arabic.
Show me where that's couldn't. Show me one other place in the Quran where that's couldn't. The word couldn't isn't even existent there.
If you translate وما كنت from Arabic to English, you'll see what it means.
It doesn't mean couldn't. It's talking about the previous scriptures, and I'll show you. So look at this. This is important, okay? So in this verse, okay, it says here. I'll put the verse word by word for it. Okay, so this is 29:48. Okay, and it's talking regarding the previous scriptures because the prophet was a Gentile, right? It says, and not you used to read from before it any scripture, and not you write it with your hand. Okay, and it's specifically with your right hand. What's the significance of the right hand? Right? Why is it saying that you couldn't, you didn't write it with your right hand? There's a declaration made in the Quran that if if the prophet was to reveal anything other than what was revealed to him, God would have seized him by the right hand. And I'll show that to you. So this is the 69:44 through.
I just want to verify in this Quran corpus, it doesn't say couldn't. It says, and not did you recite before it. Exactly. I just want to reiterate what you're saying.
The word couldn't is not in the verse, right? This is like to say that it is, you're literally lying about the verses of God in the Quran. And you know Arabic, original. You know better than that, okay?
No,
so look. So stop. I'm going to make this point. I'm going to make this point, right? It says, had he uttered any other teachings, right? It says, we would have seized him by the right hand. And this is 69:45. We would have stopped the revelations to him. None of you could have helped him, right? God is saying that the revelations come by means of the pen. This is what Surah 96 is. God is saying that if the prophet made any other statement other than what was revealed to him, he would have seized him by the right hand. Why the right hand? Is because he's writing it with his hand. This fabrication that the prophet was illiterate, right? That he couldn't read or write. Read the verse, right? 29:48, the one that you cited. This is talking about the previous scriptures. Because he didn't know the previous scriptures. He didn't read them. He didn't write them.
It's just a different interpretation.
Yeah, I was just about
Sabrina,
to say that. I was about to say that, yeah. I thought that's an interpretation.
No, it's not.
What is the meaning of kitab? Let me just ask this. What is the meaning of kitab?
That's about right on.
Yeah. This is the most frequently used term for the Quran.
Ahl al-Kitab, guys.
Right? What is it? What's kitab? It's a real
I was talking about seasoned by the right hand, I think.
Yeah, so this aspect of seasoned by the right hand, this is 69:45, right? It says, had he stated any other teaching, we would have seized him by the right hand. You have to ask, why would he have been seized by the right hand? What's the significance there?
Yeah, please.
Could have been a cultural significance.
No. See, now you're reaching for what's not there. He knows what's in the future, right? 69:45 talks about seizing with the right hand, and then 69:46 he says he'll kill him, right? Why bother seizing the right hand if you're gonna just kill him right afterwards? Right? Why does God need to seize by the right hand? He could just kill him like that.
Okay,
right? He's making a statement here.
Can I just quickly say something? I believe Sabrina brought up the point of in the Quran it says obey Allah the Messenger. why would Allah say in the Quran, obey Allah and the Messenger? Why would He say that?
Yeah, that's easy.
We can't do
We
hadith.
can get to that, but first we gotta resolve this, right? This is a critical piece, okay? If they're claiming that the Prophet was illiterate, that in 23 years he didn't have the capacity to learn how to read or write, that he outsourced the most crucial responsibility of the written Quran to some scribes, this is such a huge deception, right? Everything in the Quran indicates that this was written. To say that he didn't take on this responsibility, that it was conducted after the fact, just goes completely against the Quran. I mean, even if you look, one of the claims against him in the same chapter, in 25:5, this is the claim that the disbelievers made against him. So look, 25:5 says, they said tales from the past he wrote down. They were dictated to him day and night, right? If he was illiterate, they would just say, look, some other dude wrote this. It's not him. You know, so again, they're referencing the written Quran.
Alright, okay. So let's say, for argument's sake, right? Let's say that you're right and he did write it down. It still wouldn't make sense. In the Quran, it says, obey the Prophet, obey Allah and the Prophet.
Okay, so we can get to,
Right.
so that's a fundamentally different argument, right? The question is, how do we obey the Prophet? Very simple, okay?
Right.
We have the only time in the Quran that you see basically what it constitutes to obey the Prophet is in 25, 27 through 30, right? So it says, the day will come when the transgressor will bite his hands in anguish and say, at last I wish I had followed the path with the messenger, right? This is what we all want to do. We want to follow the path with the messenger. At last, woe to me, I wish I did not take that person as a friend. He has led me away from the message after it came to me. Indeed, the devil lets down his human victims. And this is the messenger's testimony against his people on the day of resurrection. The messenger said, my Lord, my people have deserted this Quran. No mention of hadith, no mention of sunnah. This is literally the testimony of the messenger against his people on the day of resurrection. That his ummah deserted this Quran, and they've done it flat out, right? They put the Quran as a secondary, if not like further below, than all the hadith compilations. Because they will simply abrogate a verse from the Quran, a clear commandment from the Quran, when a hadith says otherwise. So it shows that their priority is not the Quran, right? They will read it, they will memorize it, but when it comes to what they choose to follow, they consistently choose to follow these secondary sources that were created hundreds of years after the death of the Prophet, that have no authority.
Okay, but what I'm asking is, if Allah has told us to obey Allah and the Messenger, how are we supposed to obey Him if we're supposed to reject the hadith?
Very simple.
How do
No,
you then
very
obey Him?
You obey him by obeying the Quran. That's what 25:30 is telling you, right? Not some laws attributed to him. Like imagine this: you're supposed to obey your parents. You know, if some stranger comes to you and says, "Hey, your parents said X, Y, and Z," are you obliged to obey that person?
So just make this clear.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
I'm answering. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to make it clear, right? So,
Can you answer the question? Original, can you answer the question?
so repeat the question. Sorry.
I'll repeat it. Can I repeat it, dude?
Yeah.
If we're living during the time of the Prophet, and original, I come to you and tell you that the Prophet said before you sleep, you have to do 100 prayers. Are you going to listen to what I said?
If he's a reliable person who I trust, why would I not believe him?
The Quran tells you that you can't know if someone's. The Quran says that you can never know if someone's actually.
Well, the Quran literally tells you do not accept any information without verifying it for yourself. So if you were to go and just accept, oh yeah, hey, it's actually worse than that, right? It's not that you shouldn't just accept any unless you verify yourself. God says do not even approach things by which you don't have any basis for being able to confirm, right? That's 1736. Like God is telling you to stay away from this stuff. These narrations, right? They were created hundreds of years after the death of the Prophet. They have no foundation from the actual sayings of the Prophet. You know, and specifically in the Quran, it's telling us that this is our only source of religious law. If we believe in God, we believe in the verse of the Quran, our response should be we hear and we obey.
We should listen and obey the Prophet. So your point.
How do you do
The
that?
point. See, the
So
point
let me
you're
ask you,
bringing across is that we should reject
the
it.
only thing that we can say, the only thing we can say definitively came out of the Prophet's mouth is the Quran itself. Right? You want to obey the Prophet, the way you do that is by obeying the Quran, period. Right? Not some false attributions that were wrongfully to come from him hundreds
So
of
we
years
should-
after his death.
So we should only obey him of anything that he said in the Quran only. Is that what you're saying?
That's the only verifiable fact we have from him. This is look. The hadith is
So
so
what-
ridiculous. Like, I'll give you a simple example.
Okay, no, that's
original.
fine.
Original. Stop. It's not for your sake because we had this conversation, and I don't think there's much hope for you. But look at the hadith on the most simple matters can't get it fundamentally right. Regarding the number of how old the Prophet was when he died. Okay, we have hadith that say he was 60, 61, 63, 65. How many years did he spend in Mecca and Medina? Right? They have it basically 10 years in Mecca, 10 years in Medina, 13 years in Mecca, 13 years in Medina, 10 years in Mecca, 13 years in Medina. Right? These basic facts they can't get right. Which one is the first revelation? Right? Some narrations say Surah 74, some say Surah 96. Which one is the last revelation? Right? Which one is the last verse? These simple facts, they can't get these right. They don't even know how many wives the Prophet had. Okay? They don't know how many battles he fought and which battles they fought, what the sequence of those battles were. Again, if they can't get the most basic facts right, how less reliable are they on any other piece of information? You know, consider this. The hadith that is considered the most mass transmitted hadith, over 70 companions supposedly attribute to this hadith. Okay, that if anyone makes a lie against me, they will have his place in hell. They don't know if the word deliberate is in there or not. So you'll see narrations in both Sahih Bukhari and Muslim where sometimes the word deliberate is there and sometimes it's not. You know, and that's the funny thing is, a lot of the scholars today, they say, the scholars today, they claim, no, you can't. The scholars today,
I think we should have
claim,
1 minute each. 1 minute each would be okay, because I'm
that's
trying to
fine,
make
you
this
can listen. Right, the scholars today, they make this claim, they say, look, it must be deliberate, because obviously hadith is the cornerstone of the religion. The irony is, when you look at the actual hadith, the companions understood this to mean that this was any saying that even if you misspoke on behalf of the Prophet, you'd be guaranteed to go to hell. That's the reason that over 99% of the companions narrated 0 hadith.
Okay. Right, but I understand all that, but what I'm saying is, see, what I'm confused about is this point here. You know, if I'm not mistaken, according to the belief of you guys, is that in the Quran, when Allah says, obey Allah and the Messenger, He's referring to anything that the Prophet ﷺ said in the Quran, right? So we should only obey him in the things that he said written in the Quran. Why would Allah tell us to obey the Prophet ﷺ, to obey him, and then whatever he said in the Quran, why did Allah just tell us to obey him? Why is he saying
Can I respond?
No, it doesn't make sense.
Go for it.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, and Sabrina, I just want you to take note of this. You're presupposing that the hadith are true. That's the problem. That's where the confusion is. You're presupposing that these hadith are real stories, that the Prophet actually said and did this, and that they're authentic and they have no mistakes or errors or just flat out contradictions. That's the problem.
If I can chime in, it says it in the Quran, right? Chapter 8, verse 20. It says, you shall not disregard the messenger while you hear. Meaning that if you're within his presence and he tells you, hey, original, go do X, Y, and Z, you drop everything and you do it. The reality is established sayings from the Prophet that we can say definitively came out of his mouth that he preached was the Quran alone. That's the only thing we have that we can say definitively came from the Prophet. Right? Anything else is pure speculation at best.
So the verses that say obey Allah and the Messenger is referring to those who were within his presence while he was alive. So
correct. Yeah, at the time when the Prophet makes
right.
So he gives battle plans, right? You have to obey them.
Right.
The thing is, everything he said was for his time and place. As far as things that we are to be to uphold future generations, The only thing that the Quran tells the future generations to uphold is the Quran itself. Period.
So
Right,
the
again.
part, the Quran is, so those parts of the Quran we should disregard. Where he says
What
obey
parts?
the
So
Allah and
there is nothing we're
the Prophet.
disregarding.
We should
You wanna
disregard because
obey
we're not
the
with him. We
messenger.
can't obey him.
So listen. Anything, okay, you want to obey the Prophet, okay? Show me one other established piece of knowledge we have that's from the Prophet. Just one. Give me one statement from the Prophet you can say definitively came from him.
I mean, I'm, you know,
No, give
like
me
I said,
one. Bro,
like I said-
I'm asking you. I'm saying, look, you're saying we have to follow these other sources. Can you definitively show me a single statement from the Prophet aside from the Quran that you can say without a doubt this came out of the Prophet's mouth?
Look, I came here. I've made no
Bro,
claim.
answer the
I'm
question.
literally, I just asking questions.
Original, I'm asking you a question.
I'm asking
you a question. No, bro, stop with this, okay? I'm asking you a straightforward.
Peace be upon you guys. Hey, do you mind talking to the original later? I mean, we've talked.
Yeah.
I would love to mute the guy because unless Sabrina finds value in this, right? I would much prefer to engage with her because I'm sorry, like original, you're blocked out, right? When I'm
That's
giving
fine.
like statements,
Look,
yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
let you talk to Sabrina. I'll be quiet. That's fine. I'll keep quiet. You can speak to Sabrina. That's fine.
Yeah. Kind of
Go ahead.
having a conversation with her.
Sorry.
I said we were kind of having a conversation with her, and
Okay.
So,
Continues.
appreciate it. Hey, so Sabrina, I think you've been maybe overloaded with some information. Do you have any questions that sprung to mind over the past few minutes?
No.
Did anything that we say make any sense to you?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And what's your take on it?
My take? Well, I mean, obviously, I follow the Hadith, so I don't agree with you.
So let me ask you this, Sabrina, right? You came from Christianity, and you saw how twisted they made the religion of Christianity, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that this same thing didn't happen to Islam? Literally, roughly about the same time period, 325 years after the death of the Prophet, they basically took on this Hadith corpus as a secondary source that's utter fabrication. Like, why do you think that the 2 billion Muslims, right, that are all claiming to uphold this just the most foul, contradictory material, right? Why do you think this has any legitimacy?
Well, why do you think that it doesn't?
Because again, I can prove it historically, I can prove it scientifically, I can prove it via the Quran, that this has zero foundation. Here's just a simple example, okay? We can argue regarding, hey, you know, the woman who buries her child, right? That the child is going to hell. I can say, look, this contradicts the Quran. If you read Surah 81, God says on the day of resurrection, the first person to be questioned is this child is going to be asked the people, for what crime was she killed? Right? The Quran indicates that this child is going to paradise. This child is not going to hell. Okay? But the challenge there, you just say, hey, well, look, I disagree with your assessment on it. Okay? Now, there's scientific claims made inside the Hadith that you can put to the rigor, okay? And you can see, does this actually make sense? So in the Hadith, it says that the Adam was created 60 cubits tall, and every human being has gotten progressively shorter since then. This is a Sahih Hadith. We find it a Muslim, we find it Bukhari, right? And it's severely problematic because you can go and do the research, and we can see that humans have not gotten progressively shorter. Right? I have an entire book where they're trying to figure out how to make sense of this Hadith. Right? So the question for you, did the Prophet actually make this statement or not?
Well, obviously, I don't know. I wasn't there. But I have to go. I need to go break my fast. I need to go make dinner for my kids. So it was lovely talking to you.
Sabrina, last thing. In the Quran, it does say that the worst evil that one can do is perpetrate a lie attributed to God. Right? So you better be sure of the hadith that you believe in. Alright?
Peace. Did you say that you were fasting? Is it do you believe it's Ramadan currently by any chance?
No, I do not believe
No,
that's wrong.
it's a sunnah thing. They do additional fasts outside of Ramadan.
Okay, no, I said it because there is a group who thinks it's Ramadan right now.
Oh, no, I have not heard of that. So,
Hey, Sabrina, come back soon. Thanks for talking with us. The last thing I wanted to say before we go is, how would you prove a single hadith definitively? Because we have a lot of evidence to prove
I can't prove any of this, right? I've already told you that I'm not knowledgeable on hadith. I mean, I admitted that right from the very beginning.
Oh,
I can't prove any of this. I can't prove that you're right, but I can't prove that I'm right either. So,
okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay.
Yeah, so what we should do there is just like refer to the words that we know are from God, right?
Well, she has to go right now.
What you were impressed by, right. What you were impressed by was the Quran. It was the words of God. It was not, you did not open up the hadith like, wow, this is clearly divine, right? Like you read the Quran and you were impressed by that, right? So turn to that book and what does that book tell you to do, basically? So, that's just like some questions to think about, God willing.
alright, assalamu alaikum.
Alright, Original has a question now. Go ahead, yeah, Original, you can ask your question that you're claiming no one can answer. Equalizer can answer, so can AAA.
Okay. So my question is, the Rashad Khalifa, obviously, I'm assuming you guys truly believe that he was the true messenger of Allah.
Yes.
Yet no one seems to know specifically where and during what he was doing when his soul was taken. Was he sleeping? Was he meditating? Was he doing the is this information available or is it not available? I'm just wondering.
I remember the story, but I don't know. Was he on his Hajj or was that something else?
Wait, who cares? What? Let's say it was a dream that God gave him. So, what? Who cares?
No, I'm just asking, does anyone know, how exactly, in what state was he when his soul was taken?
Who cares?
I don't recall, my friend. I really don't. The details aren't really relevant. Like, how much do we know of Muhammad's Isra or Miraj? Right? What did he say? Did he say much about what he did? I don't think so. He just said that he saw some signs. That's what the Quran said. Right?
Right.
Wait,
So
about
that was-
Muhammad's thing?
Yeah, Muhammad's thing. We only know that he saw some signs. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that
who
was
cares?
that was 1,400 years ago. This was 40 years ago. Surely, someone he wrote it down. He would say exactly how and when it happened, and what state was he. If it happened in the 70s, 1974.
No, why is it here? It's like saying, hey, what side did Muhammad sleep on? Did he stand or sit? Like, it's just, what's the relevancy? Why does it matter?
Yeah, it's a good question.
What
I
does
will
this
tell
do
you.
for you?
I'll tell you why it's relevant.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the reason why it's relevant, right, is because, if someone believes that a man is a true messenger of Allah, right, he truly believes that, he would and should want to know everything about him, every single detail as possible, right? So, his soul being taken by Allah is a massive claim.
Okay.
It's a big thing
Tell me
happening in his life.
Tell me every single detail about Jesus and Moses and Abraham.
It's the fact that Allah took his soul and put it back. That's the point that he became a messenger. So at that point, that's the most important part of his life.
Tell me every single detail about every messenger.
This is what I'm saying, that you don't know, the full detailed description of how it happened and what state he was at exactly.
So you don't know the full details of Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and all the other ones. So you don't really believe in them. Like, I don't understand. What's the point of this comment you're making? Like, it's just a ridiculous point.
I mean, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we know what happened when the revelation came to him.
Wonderful.
And this
How's this going to help in the Day of
1,000 years
Judgment?
ago.
Yeah. Knowing what he had for breakfast, or how he went to the washroom. How's this helping the Day of Judgment? What does this have to do with God
Yeah.
glitch?
Because you believe that he's a true messenger of Allah.
What's up?
Yeah, I don't know this information, but I believe he's a true messenger of Allah. Hold on one second. So I don't know this information, but I believe he's a true messenger of Allah. Or are you saying that I actually don't know this about the messenger of Allah unless I know these details? What is your argument here?
The point of his life when he became a messenger. You
I
have
don't
no
care
idea.
about that. I believe he's a messenger of God. He was a messenger of God. Okay, so now I don't care about those details. You're saying I have to know those details? How does that affect my belief
Okay,
in
but then-
God, His religion, and His messengers?
Then I can ask you, why do you believe in the messenger? Why do you believe that then?
Yeah, God says so in the Quran.
Yeah, so Mr. Original, think about it this way. No one believed Muhammad was a messenger just because he said he had a trip to the first horizon, or to the first heaven, right? No one became a believer in him because of that story. Right? If I told you I went to the first heaven, are you gonna believe me? Are you gonna treat me as a messenger of God? No. Right? Because that's not proof. God says he sends proof with his messenger. Right? Rashad's proof was not that dream. Right? That was not Rashad's proof. Right? We believe he's the messenger of God for the proof that he brought and the message that he delivered. Right? Neither of which was that dream. Right? Sure, he mentioned that he had that dream. Yes, this completes the prophecy that was in the Quran, but that dream is not really relevant to the proof of messengership that he presented. Same for Muhammad. Muhammad went to the first heaven. That is not proof that's not the proof of messengership of Muhammad. People believed in Muhammad because of the Quran, and they believed in the story because they believed in the Quran, not because Muhammad told them the story and they believed the story. Right? This is the same thing. So that dream is not actually anything relevant to believing in him being a messenger. Now, if you really want to know something, in the Quran, we have Prophet Muhammad going to the highest horizon, right? And we have another person going to the high horizon. Two different levels of horizons here. One is the highest and one is just a high horizon, right? But Muhammad did not go to both. He only went to one. Right, so who went to the second one?
Sorry, one sec. I need to deafen myself for a couple of minutes. How do I do that? How do I deafen myself?
I got you.
No. Tell him how to do it, because bro, teach him how to deafen himself. You do AAA.
Stop teach him. Yeah, let me see these verses. So, Muhammad did go to the highest. Guys,
Yeah, what's up?
Muhammad did go to the highest horizon, correct?
I mean, high horizon, highest horizon. I mean,
Two different horizons and two messengers, right?
I mean, I think they both refer to the same thing, to be honest. But I don't know.
Because the footnote for 8123 says Rashad Khalifa was summoned to the high horizon, right? Yeah, see. Yeah, so 8122 through 2024 is referring to Rashad, and 53.6 through 53.8 is referring to
Yo, what's going on here? What's going on?
No, nothing. He had to deafen.
He did not deafen. AAA deafen.
What happened?
He
What's going on,
wanted to
Triple
learn
A?
how to deafen. He wanted to learn how to deafen. I was too lazy to teach him, so I just deafened him myself.
Dang, this is your guy, McClinkin?
Bro,
Definitely.
AAA is still better, bro.
He wanted to deafen. Alright, no, Mitchell, come back.
So undeafen him.
Hey,
I know.
Okay.
Alright. What's going on?
Okay. So yeah. So what was getting at, right? What I was saying is that what is the most significant part of Rashad Khalifa's life? The most significant point of his life is which point? Can we all agree? Is which point?
It's when he discovered code 19.
Right. And that was the point when Allah took his soul.
No, that was the point that computers spoke.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
So what's the significance of Allah taking his soul?
To fulfill the prophecy. So 303 verse 81.
Right. So do you know what year that happened that Allah took his soul?
You went quiet.
Oh, sorry. Do you know in which year did Allah take his soul? Do you know which year that happened?
1971.
1975. And when did he reveal the miracle?
He revealed the miracle 1974.
Okay. So in 1974, he said that Allah took his soul 3 years prior to that.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. So why did Allah take his soul? Did he mention the reason or?
To fulfill Surah 3 verse 81. The prophecy of the covenant. The prophecy of the covenant of the prophets.
But how do you know that Allah took his soul? Is that what he said? He said that in his book.
He told us his dream. We
I
have
think
the
once
verse.
it's not a dream. It's not a dream. Once you
Whatever.
confirm someone's,
Yes.
it's not a dream,
Yeah.
and it makes a difference. And once you confirm someone's a messenger, you have to trust it. That's why God says in the Quran, "The messenger shall be obeyed and trusted." So you want us to not trust the messenger of God?
No, I'm just asking you about that. So, you know.
When you confirm
He says
someone's
so.
a messenger, you have to obey
Yeah.
them.
So that's what I'm saying. So he claimed that Allah took his soul.
Yes, after we believed in him being a messenger, we heard this story and we believed the story.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So he claimed it for himself. So he claimed for himself that Allah took his soul.
Just
And
like
returned.
him for himself, his soul was taken and he went to the highest heaven. Yes, just like Muhammad claimed his soul was taken to the highest heaven. Correct.
So he actually saw heaven.
I don't know. I think it's Muhammad who saw paradise. I don't know.
What's
I
the
don't know-
overall? Yeah, like what's the overall message you're trying to convey? You're saying we shouldn't obey the messenger of God, or we shouldn't believe Rashad was a messenger because God summoned him, or what? Like, what's the overall narrative?
There's no point in just asking questions.
Oh, there's no point.
There's no point. I'm just trying to learn more about why you believe it.
We believe it because he brought proof from God in the Quran for messengership, right? And after believing he's a messenger, we believe what he says.
Yeah, so this is what I'm trying to ascertain is that what did he say? He said Allah took my soul, I went to the highest heaven, right? And Allah brought my soul back into my body.
Well, why
And then
are you asking us when I gave you a video you can listen to him talk about it? Like, if you're so curious, why don't you just listen to the man himself?
Are you saying this because you guys don't know the
If I
answer?
was-
That's right.
Yeah, if I was so interested in this, I would just hang up and go listen to him directly. So you're not really excited about this. I mean, I
I'm
can
just
send you the
asking.
video again.
Is it because you don't know that? If it's fine, if you don't know the answer, it's fine. Just say you don't know the answers. Because you don't know the answer.
I mean, I know what he said to an extent. I didn't memorize everything he said.
Yeah,
What difference
we don't know
does it make?
what he was wearing either.
I'm just curious, what difference does it make for you?
No, I mean, look, it's you believe in the
I
true
gave this
message of Allah.
video. You want to learn about him, why don't you just listen to him? If you genuinely want to learn about him, because it sounds like you don't.
How long is the video?
I don't know, just go watch it. Put on double speed. If you want to learn about what he says and all this stuff, why don't you just listen to him directly? Why do you want second-hand information?
I want specific
Yeah,
details.
listen to it. Yeah,
I
listen to it.
can't say listen to like a 3-hour video. I don't know how long it is. Just for specific information.
You can skip a bit.
Sorry.
It's 1 hour and 19 minutes, and since he might be the messenger of God, perhaps you should watch it all.
1 hour 20 minutes.
1 hour and
Hey,
19 minutes.
These guys, what happened to Paragon?
I think odds have banned him, and We might need to review that.
What happened? He doesn't.
Otter banned him.
Paragon's been relatively benign lately.
Yeah, Otter banned him for being annoying. Take it up with Otter. It's good for a review.
Just unban him.
No, because then Peter's gonna get upset.
Wait, Peter wants Paragon banned?
I don't know, but Peter said that if we don't.
Peter likes
unbanning.
No, just unban him.
Yeah,
Just unban him.
I don't mind banning Paragon. I actually want.
Paragon has not done anything, and he's been very.
Yeah.
what I find strange is original debated us for 4 or 5 hours, but he can't watch an hour-long clip from Rashad explaining everything. But he's willing to ask us for 4 hours straight. To me, that's just bizarre.
Will I find the answers inside the video?
You won't know unless you watch it, right?
I'm not going to watch it in case the answer's there. If the answer's
I
definitely
know
there.
he explains the. But here's the thing: you don't even care. Even if he gives you all the answers you want, you still won't accept it because you're not willing to say La ilaha illallah. You're not down with Tawheed. It doesn't matter.
I'm just trying to figure out, why you guys, how much do you guys know about him? Right? This might be for your own good. How much do you actually know about him?
We know a lot about it.
You know what?
We even know his birthday, my friend.
You know his birthday? Okay. What was his birthday?
Wait, are you seriously asking me that?
You know his birthday?
Yeah, November 19th.
Hey, wait. Can you take a guess? Like, what day do you think he was born on?
Do you want me to guess?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably the right guess. Like, the month has about 30 to 31 days, right? What day do you think he was born on?
I'm going to assume 19.
Wow, yeah. Hey, how many years was he a messenger?
I don't believe he was a messenger, so according to your belief, according to your guys' belief, he's a messenger for 19 years.
Yeah, wow, well, what another coincidence. Wow. Hey, some years after he died, did the culprit get caught after?
Okay, I did see an article. He died, was it 91 something?
Yeah, January 1990.
1990. And then the culprit was caught after 2008.
19 years, exactly.
Okay, hang on, I'm just going to verify this one second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously, the fact that he died and then the culprit was jailed 19 years after his death, that was in his control. So let's see how accurate this is.
Exactly. Rashad was not alive to control something like that.
Bro, what's up, guys? Peace.
Assassination. January 31st, 1990, he was found stabbed to death. Okay.
Yeah,
19
19 years after he declared messengership, yes. Or not declared, but after. Right?
PTO citizen option learn to very well. Yeah,
So how many years did the cat just kill her?
no, the only thing I can say, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to, find loopholes or whatever, right? But it is common knowledge that anyone can write the Wikipedia. That's the only thing I can say. So if we can get the source
They can
confirmed,
give you police reports of the court record of them catching the guy 19 years later. What are you talking about, bro? Come on.
Bruh.
I don't know. I can't confirm whether it was or
Guess
not.
what day he was convicted?
So funny.
Oh, it was also 19. Wow. What the hell's going on there?
Yeah,
December 19th.
December 19th, yeah.
But then, because if the jury actually started on, it started December 11th. If it started on December 19th, we would have said, guess what day the jury started? It started on December 19th.
Well, why did God make them start on December 11th so that they would convict him on exactly the day of 19?
Do you know how many interstates in the country are 19? Like Interstate 19 in the whole of the USA?
Sorry, say that again.
In the entire USA, half a continent, right? There's a single Interstate 19. You know where it ends?
So what's an interstate?
No, I'm sorry. Highway.
Oh, like a motorway.
Yeah, highway. It's Highway 19. Right? Do you know where it ends?
Do I know where the Highway 19 ends?
It ends at his masjid.
Where does it begin?
Probably south of Central America, I think. Like go south, I guess. I don't know. I never went to the beginning of it, right? I went to the end of it. But
I mean,
there's only a single one out of the 50 states. Out of the 50 states, there's only one Highway 19 ending at his mosque.
Whoa. What does that signify?
He bought the mosque before he started researching the Quran.
He bought the mosque.
He bought the mosque before he started researching the Quran.
Before he ever figured out there's something called
Yeah.
But was the highway already called the Highway 19?
How what? What is it?
The Highway 19. Sorry, what's it called? Highway 19, is it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can call it whatever, but it's the only one in the entire USA.
Yeah.
Half of
What I'm asking is, when he bought the mosque, was the highway already called Highway 19?
So he moved to Tucson before they built Highway 19.
So they built it after the mosque.
Did they build it after he bought the mosque? That's
So
funny.
they planned it right about the time he came into Tucson in the 1950s, but they actually built it after he already moved in. So it's not like he chose to go to a place that's off of Highway 19. He did not even know about Code 19 until the 70s.
I mean, that's, how do you know he did it?
Original. You know the mosque when it was built? It did start off as a mosque, the building. You know when it was built?
No.
1919.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's basically everything that has the number 19 that surrounds him or anything connected to him. Obviously people are just going to say, look, 19 this, 19 that.
No, well, so look at this, my friend.
There could be more 10s, there could be 12s with 30s.
What does God say here? What does God say here? Look, read the last verse.
I'm not on my phone at the moment.
What are you on?
I'm working, or I'm just trying while I'm working.
He is the knower of the future. He does not reveal the future to anyone. Only to a messenger that he chooses does he reveal from the past and the future specific news. This is to ascertain that they have delivered their Lord's messages. He is fully aware of what they have. He has counted the numbers of all things. Right? Why does God say he has counted the numbers of all things? You don't think that's that's mystical?
Yeah, I believe we went through this yesterday. It's just a difference in the interpretation.
How do you interpret it?
Hey, can I just add two other things that phrase "only to a messenger that he chooses" has a geometrical value of 1919. And if you look at the Arabic word at the end there, it's "khalfihi rasada." Does that sound familiar? So that phrase "only to a messenger he chooses" has a value of 1919. It talks about God giving things to messengers and counting the numbers of the things that messengers have, and then it uses a word that says "khalfihi rasada." What's going on here?
I will need to see. I'll need to see this theory.
You just say Subhanallah. Yeah, you say Subhanallah, or if you still cannot comprehend it, say God knows. May God show it to me if it's the truth, and may God steer me away from it if it's falsehood. Simple as that. Because guidance comes from God. You know that. Everyone knows that. That's instinctual.
Of course.
Guys, if you can't get them to say La ilaha illallah, what are you guys even talking about? You cannot say La ilaha
What?
illallah.
Don't jump to the bottom line like that, Naveed. Give him time.
No, wait. This is. Can you not say La ilaha illallah just to prove a point? Original?
You want me to say La ilaha illallah?
Say it, yeah.
So he just said it.
Why can't I say that?
Yeah, just curious. Can you say it right now without any other
Of course. لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن محمد عبده ورسوله.
Say it without the second part, my friend. Say it without the second part.
Oh, what would that prove?
That you can say it. That you can say it.
No, what it proves is, no, hold on. What it proves, sound bad. What it proves is that God alone is enough. Hey, look, in chapter 63, verse 1, only hypocrites would have to say that Muhammad is the prophet of God, or should I say messenger of God, since the word Rasul is mentioned there. Within the Quran, if you believe in the Quran, everything in the Quran, there's a verse that says Muhammad Rasulullah وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءٌ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ وَرُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. Muhammad is the messenger of God. The ones with him are stern on disbelievers, compassionate amongst each other, etc. So when you believe in the Quran, you either believe he's a messenger of God or not. Right? The verse says it, the Quran says it, so you believe it instinctually. Now, we established that fact. But why they want you to say La ilaha illallah alone? They want to see if God alone is enough for you. And that's important. Why? Because in the Salat, if people do not mention the Prophet and the Prophet's family and Prophet Abraham and Prophet Abraham's family, then they feel like their Salat is incomplete. Scratch that. The Hadith says that the Quran is that the Salat is incomplete. So the Hadith claims that a Salat to God alone and remembering God alone is incomplete.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying that said tashahhud, that doesn't entail any shirk.
Well, how many times were the tashahuds mentioned within the Quran? Are any of them including the Prophet?
I'll tell you what I say.
There are some which include all the prophets. For example, Jacob on his deathbed, when he asked his children, "Who are you going to worship after I'm gone?" They had to mention all the prophets, the messengers / prophets equally. They didn't raise one above the other.
But what part of it is shirk?
You are.
What part of what I say is shirk? What part of it? It's not shirk.
It's the shirk part. The shirk part is that remembering God alone is not enough for you. You have to remember His servant, His messenger, along with Him. Especially in the salat. If it's a casual conversation and what you said, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. See, there's nothing wrong with that in a casual conversation. But more specifically in the salat,
Okay,
it's
so
supposed to remember God alone. This is
so what part of it do I say that you guys say differently? Which part is exactly?
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله best.
So التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. Right.
Assalamu alayka أيها النبي. Does the Nabi hear you?
Hang on. السلام على النبي. السلام على النبي.
Assalamu alayk. It's assalamu
don't say
alayk,
that.
brother. I was born Sunni, bro.
No,
I know this.
me too. I was Sunni too. No, so the way that the Sunnis say it is Assalamu alayka, ayyuhan nabi, peace be upon you, O Prophet.
No, but I'm telling you how I say السلام على النبي.
Yeah, but that's you innovating it though.
No, this is the
Yeah,
Sunni
why
version.
do you say why do you say this the way you just said it? Is it
Well, the
the
hadith-
hadith say that verbatimly? No, it doesn't.
The hadith sources
Pull up
say
the
that.
hadith. Which
Sorry?
hadith? Bring it up.
It's in the posted the book yesterday. The Prophet's
Yeah.
prayer described. It's gonna be in
Yeah.
the
Yeah, but specifically,
Yeah.
which hadith does that?
Yeah, the hadith will be-
Salamu alayk. Instead of saying Salamu alayk, you should say Salamu alayk.
the book, the Prophet's prayer described tells us what to say, and in the Tashahhud part it tells us to say التحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات السلام على النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Yeah, and if you don't want to take my word or our word for it, brother, if you bring up the hadith does not say that. Whoever wrote that book added things from his own, just like
No,
the majority
Why,
of the
millions-
communities have.
millions of people use that book. Some
Yeah,
people
so
say it's السلام عليك يا أيها النبي. Some people say that. And some people say السلام علينا.
Millions of people celebrate Halloween and Christmas, and millions of people have adultery, millions of people kill, millions of people steal, millions of people deal with usury and interest, riba, high rates of interest. Millions of people are transgressors.
No, but
Millions of
okay,
people
I
are
understand
idol
your point. But what I'm
worshippers.
saying is,
So
it's
what?
better. It's some people say السلام عليك يا أيها النبي, but it's better to say السلام علينا. السلام على النبي
السلام
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay.
And then
When you
so
say
you guys
when
not
you say it's better, when you say it's better, is that your ego, or is that a scholar that told you it's better, or is
yeah,
it
scholar.
the way you feel?
No, as a scholar, he's up there.
Okay, what if I told you that God said it's better to say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله?
So what do you guys say? You don't say تحيات لله والصلوات والطيبات. You don't say that.
It's just a tashahhud and salam, that's it.
So
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. That's it.
that's it. Nothing else.
No.
But according from what I learned from you guys, that you guys pray, the way that you guys pray is by following how other people pray, Muslims. And other
I mean,
Muslims say that.
If you look around, right, no human being learned how to pray without learning it from another human being. Even the people who convert to Islam, they go to a masjid, the imam shows them, or they go to a friend. People like me, born into a Sunni family,
Yeah,
your
but then
parents-
everyone prays differently. So you know
Yes.
how.
Yes. So then, when it comes down to the bottom line, what's the standard of praying? There's a verse that says, God talks to Prophet Moses and tells Prophet Moses to observe the contact pairs to remember me, in terms of God, to remember God. Right? So that's one standard that must not be violated. But how seriously is it taken by people? Remember me, okay, yeah, they remember him. But they don't remember him alone, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
They
what?
remember him and the Prophet and his family and Abraham and his family. So this is technically not remembering God alone.
So let's just to